You're listening to OMTimes Radio. The following is an encore presentation.
Recording. Audio. Show of business. And I'm going to use the job number 4. Third one is a bit wonky. Okay. On 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to Joy of Business with host Simone Milasas, a dynamic business leader with a difference. Simone has founded and operated many businesses from a young age and has always done business differently. Today, Simone is the worldwide coordinator of Access Consciousness and travels the world presenting Joy of Business programs using access tools and empowering people to know that they can create business in a different way and make money doing it. Simone Milasas, weekly on OMTimes Radio.
Hi everybody, welcome to Joy of Business. You're with Simone Milasas, your host on OMTimes, just in case you're flicking through and you're thinking, what radio station am I on? Well, you're on OMTimes. How does it get any better than that? And as I said, you're with Joy of Business. Now, I have the wonderful, lovely, extraordinary, phenomenal Rebecca Hulse on with me today, which I like to call Hulse. That's the nickname I gave her. So welcome, Rebecca.
Hi, thanks, Simone. What a great intro.
Yes, of course, it's a great intro. Because one of the things that we're talking about today, and this is a great topic, I love this topic, is being inconceivable in business and money. Now, what the hell is being inconceivable in business and money? Well, it's got a whole lot of different meanings. Because the thing is, how many of you have decided that business is inconceivable? You just can't do it. There's no way you can do it. Why? Because you don't have a degree, or you haven't studied, you don't have the right something, and it's like, or you're not the right sex, you're not the right age, and it's like, what if you decided is totally inconceivable about business? Now, money, that's a whole other subject as well. It's like, what if you decided is totally inconceivable about money? How much money are you allowed to have? How much money are you allowed to make? So we're going to be talking about these topics, but what I would like to bring you to is, what if you ended up being inconceivable in business and money? What if that was how you feed in business and with money? What if everything you created the energy of being totally inconceivable? People were always like, wow. And it's like, look at the way that person creates. Look at what she does different, or he does different, or how they're so willing to change, or how their creative capacities are phenomenal, or how they never judge themselves for any choice that they've made. They just keep on choosing. What if that was the energy we were looking for and asking for, was you being totally inconceivable in business and money? Okay? So everything at Daddy's right now that you're just like, what is she talking about? Will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Times a godzillion? All right, and on good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
And even if that entire part of the conversation today did make you go, or like, what is Simone talking about? The whole point of this being inconceivable tool is to give you a greater sense of freedom and to stop you from being linear in the way that you do business, or you function with money, or you function with yourself. Today, I'd have to say, I got a whole bunch of emails, and one of them was this woman that said, I don't want to receive these emails. I'm too old for business. And that is a great example of having a judgment of what you decided is inconceivable. For her, it was inconceivable that she would desire or like be able to create a business. And
oh, I love that. So what did you write back?
Well, you know what? I haven't actually written back yet.
Maybe we could write back to her during this show.
Sure.
Okay. So let's look at this, because, you know, one of the things that I've mentioned, I'm sure before, because I mentioned it quite a bit, because it's inconceivable, is that Colonel Sanders, KFC, right? Now, I'm not sure if it's the most brilliant, invention in the world, but Kentucky Fried Chicken is everywhere in the world. You can even go to the, small towns in India and find KFC. And it's like, so it's available. But do you know when he wrote his award-winning recipe? He was in his 80s. So he didn't give up and he never quit. He created it in his 80s. So it's like, did he think that it was inconceivable for him to create a successful business? Absolutely not. So what if we wrote something back to her just saying, hey, what if you decided it's inconceivable about you being in business at any age? I mean, I was talking to someone today about how I saw this a while ago. I saw a video of a 90-year-old woman heli skiing in New Zealand. And I was like, that's cool, man. That rocks. She's 90 years old and she's jumping out of a helicopter on this high mountain peak and then, you know, skiing downhill and enjoying it and loving it. That's inconceivable to the majority of people in this reality. And what is she being and living? An inconceivable life. So everywhere that you've been refusing to live the inconceivable life, yet keep judging that everything is inconceivable for you to create, truth, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh my goodness. Like, how many of you out there are attempting to think that everything is inconceivable, because that makes you normal, average and real like everybody else.
Yeah, wow.
Like, what if you...
That? What would happen?
Well, if you're willing to be inconceivable and undefinable, your choices also become easier, because you're not functioning from a defined reality of what has to be, like what's projected at you.
Same.
So let's look.
Be the same.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at this lady who writes back and says, hey, I don't want to receive these emails because I'm too old for business. Okay, so what's that, first of all? It's a judgment. It's a projection of herself. It's a projection that's probably being projected at her. And it's like, it's this reality's point of view of what age are you supposed to retire? I mean, I know in Australia, I think it's 60, and I think in the US they were increasing it. I think so they had to get people to work longer so you wouldn't get the pension, because I know there's problems in the US with, having enough money to actually give the pension out to everybody because everybody's living longer. So it's like, so what has been projected at you about business and why you shouldn't be in business? And if you weren't buying into it, what would you create? So everything at that is times a godzillion when you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
All right, wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So Rebecca, at what age did you write your first book?
I think 18.
18.
Yeah.
Now, is that inconceivable or conceivable?
Inconceivable.
For this reality.
For this reality. Conceivable for me.
Exactly. And it's like, I mean, I always forget how old you are. And it's like, in the sense of, I mean, we went to, where were we? In Dubai. We were traveling home the other day and our flight got delayed in Paris, and then we had to, stop off in Dubai for a day. I mean, we wanted to get home. That was the thing that was the pain in the bus. But it wasn't that bad. They put us up at a beautiful hotel. We went and got a massage and we laid by the pool and, had some nice food and slept, which is probably the best thing about it. But someone, in the massage thing, they referred to Rebecca as my daughter. And we were both like, oh, Rebecca goes, no, it's my friend. So it's like, but it could be her mother. And it's like, so it becomes like the amount of things that I've done in that amount of years. And it's like, I forget, because Rebecca is so capable of so many different things and has jammed so much into her life at such a young age that you almost think that she's done everything. Do you know what I mean? So what if you didn't function from the judgment of, you have to sort of spread things out, or you have to slow down, or when are you going to take a holiday, or, all those different judgments and projections that people do project at you, because that happens all the time, especially if you're really fast. So everything at that is times a godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and on, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
And the other thing I really like about this, and this is actually something you say in your Joy of Business classes, is when you're being inconceivable and undefinable, things show up in the oddest ways. And to me, like, that's where some of the magic, or some of the, when you're starting to stress about a certain situation and how is this going to show up and how am I going to make this happen, if you're willing to look at it from a more inconceivable, undefined, non-linear way, it can show up like really easily and also in a way that gets to surprise and delight you.
Surprise and delight you. I love it. And it's like, you know what, if you're listening to this and you're like, yes, but I need to take the kids to school and I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to pay my bills and I need to. It's like, are you attempting to live a conceivable lifestyle rather than, what if even that was easy? Everything you had on your plate today was just easy. The mantra of access, all of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory. Write it down, put it on your phone as an alarm, whatever you have to do. And it's like, because what if that's what it was about? What if that was the inconceivable life and living? And what if you could be relaxed about your business and relaxed about money? What would you create?
Relaxation and money?
Exactly. And it's like, start asking the question, like, write some of these questions down and ask, what would choosing something that is inconceivable be like? And practice. I mean, you're not taught to be inconceivable. You're taught to judge it. So even if you go to a restaurant, okay, and you're like, oh, I would never eat caviar, or I would never have frog's legs, I don't know, whatever it is for you, then it's like, okay, so what would choosing something that is inconceivable be like? Oh, you know what, I haven't eaten frog's legs, but what if I just tasted it and gave it a go with no judgment, no fixed point of view? It's like, would you have more in your life? And it's like, because if you are willing to have an inconceivable life and living, you will open it up to more possibilities, more magic, more of you.
Terrible idea, Simone.
So write that down. What would choosing something that is inconceivable be like? And everything that is totally inconceivable that you have created in your reality, will you destroy and uncreate it?
Yeah.
Time to go, William. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. Phew. Thank you. So let's look at some of the meanings of inconceivable, okay? Because consciousness is the willingness to receive everything and it judges nothing. So you receive everything. Nothing is inconceivable to you. So inconceivable in the dictionary is the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the incredible, the implausible, totally out of the question, and being beyond belief. Are you willing to be that with your business? What if you could be that energy with your business no matter what? So everything at that is times a gazillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyonds. Nice. How does it get any better than that? So we are almost off to the next break. Well, the first break, I should say. Oh no, we've got one more minute. But what if it was totally inconceivable for you to fly to Denver from the 1st to the 3rd of September to come to the Access Joy Business 101 and 102 classes, Business Done Different, and the Adventure of Business and Living, and come and meet me. I'd love to meet you guys. And join us for those 3 days in Denver, 1st to the 3rd of September. Now, also, if you can't come there and come and, climb the mountains and go hiking, before and after, then you can always jump on live stream. So you need to go to accessjoyofbusiness.com, search classes and search classes with Simone, and then you'll find my classes up there. And it's the only class I'm doing in the US this year. So I would love it if you came. But we still have ones in Copenhagen at the end of this month that are going to be live streamed as well. So if you want to come to Denmark, Copenhagen, come on. So we're going to a break now, and we'll be back real soon. Don't go away, because Rebecca and I are not going away. It's inconceivable for us to go away. We're staying with you, because that's what we do. All right, see you soon. Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Milasas, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The cutting edge of conscious radio, OMTimes Radio, IOM FM.
Okay, welcome back. Joy Business, Simone Milasas, and you're with Rebecca Hulse as well, or as we nicknamed her, Hulse, because that's what Australians do, and New Zealanders, Hulse.
That's true.
So we're talking about being inconceivable in business and money. So what does being inconceivable in money look like? So what if you had no judgment of money? Go ahead, what'd you say?
I was going to say, and notice how your brain just went entirely blank.
Exactly. It's like, because how many of you, I mean, you're taught to work out the pros and cons about things too, or work out the benefits of something. And it's like, what if there were no benefits? What if there was no pros and cons? What if there was just choice? Like, what if you knew you could create anything? Like, one of the things that I've, like how many of you out there have that point of view that it's like, okay, this is the only place I can earn money from is your current job, the amount of hours you put in or something like that. And it's like, what if that was not true? What if there were so many revenue streams out there that you could be creating a much larger world from that you've been totally ignoring? They're like the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the incredible, the implausible, totally out of the question and being beyond belief, your current belief. Would you be willing to destroy and uncreate them?
Yes.
Everything is that is tons of Godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. So let's find one of these processes here too that we can run. So what energy, space and consciousness can you be to be totally inconceivable and undefinable as you truly be for all eternity? And everything at that is time to Godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. It's funny because it's like, I think we need to talk more about what people have decided inconceivable is, that they are inconceivable before we can run that process.
Right.
Because that's actually the willingness to be inconceivable and undefinable. And it's like, so what if out there listening, and it's like, what have you decided is inconceivable about business and money? And whatever comes up, you're walking around the house, you're in the car, whatever, just say it out loud. And it's like, and everything at that is time to Godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. And you can keep running these processes. After we finish this show, and it's like, go back and find it and listen to it again. And we actually have a page on our website, accessjoybusiness.com, and you can go to /OMTimes, I think is the quick URL, or radio show, actually. And it's like, it's got all the past shows.
Yeah.
What's that?
Just click on the radio show tab under Joy of Business and you'll see it.
And it's got all the past shows, so you can find this. Like, we load it up there as soon as it's there, and you can find this. And it's like, and listen to it again and again and again. So it's like, what have you decided is inconceivable about business and money? What decisions have you made? And it's like, are they yours? Or did you buy them from your mum and your dad, or from, your schoolmates, or from a newspaper, or from this reality? And everything at that is time to Godzillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine, shorts, boys and beyond. The truth, what have you decided is inconceivable about business and money? So what are some of the things that would come up? And it's like, okay, like we spoke about before, that how many of you have decided that you can't earn over $100,000 a year? Or how many of you decided you can't earn over $100,000 a month? Or what if you were earning $100,000 a week? and everywhere that is totally inconceivable, and all the judgments you have of what that would look like and what you'd have to be and what you'd have to do in order to receive that, truth, we destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot or name, shorts, boys and beyonds. I love your yeses, Rebecca. It's awesome. How does it get any better than that?
Well, it's fun to be a yes girl.
Exactly. It's like, what questions could you ask to destroy and uncreate your point of view about money? Because your point of view is what limits you. If you had no point of view, what would you create? Would you be inconceivable? I mean, think about that person who walks into a party and it's like they're not walking in with all these 6 points of view or what it's got to look like. They're walking in with this like, hey, I'm here. And it's like, and they're willing for anything to show up. That's the person that you always sort of get attracted to. It's also the person that gets judged the most. So are you willing to be judged? And everything at that is times a gazillion where you destroy and uncreate it.
Absolutely.
All right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all named shorts, boys and beyond. So, Rebecca, what are some of the inconceivable things in business that you have found and you've sort of like, you know, jumped over that hurdle and created something different? And what are some of the tools that you've used to create that difference in your life?
Well, I think one of the things that you and I have actually been talking about recently is it inconceivable to you that you would never be overwhelmed or that there could never be too much going on for you and that you could always add more to your plate? Like, I think for a lot of people, they don't want to start a business or add more to their business because it's inconceivable that they would have enough time or that they would be able to create it. Simone is one of the busiest ladies I know. She's definitely in, I think, my top 5. And you'll say an idea to her and she'll go, sure, let's do it. Like, it's almost never normally a no. It's always a, cool, when can we add that in? Or what do we have to do to add this? And so, like, she really, and I've just found that out recently too. Like, oh, there's absolutely nothing I couldn't add or be capable of or handle or be overwhelmed with. And so,
yeah, I mean, well, today, I mean, Rebecca's currently in Queensland, Australia as well. She's staying at a mutual friend of ours' place, Lauren Marie, with the 2 beautiful, incredible magic twins. And it's, our first meeting this morning was at 7 a.m. And it's like, so we'll both on that. And all our meetings are about, they're not just like meeting and like, let's discuss this. Like, it's like, okay, so what are we going to institute? What's going to happen? Who's instituting it? What ideas do we have? How creative can we get? And it's now almost 6 p.m. And I know we've both been working all day, full at it. And it's like, and then Rebecca was also talking about a meeting that she has tonight that's at 11 p.m. And it's like, you just keep going. But it's not from the, you know, the judgment. It's not from the, I must do it from, you know, letting people down or anything like that. It's actually doing it from being willing to function from an inconceivable life and living. Because it's like, I know I love creation. I know Rebecca loves creation. It's like, okay, so what next? What next? What next? And it's like, how many of you have decided that, you know, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday is the hours that you work in business? What if that wasn't true? I mean, I just had an hour-long conversation with Gary Douglas, who's the founder of Access Consciousness, and about some ideas that he has. And I was like, okay. And he said, I wanted to talk to you about this because I knew you were one of the people who had no point of view, and that you would receive what I was saying, and then you would create from that. And I was like, yeah. And I said, this is definitely the sort of conversation that you leave it with me, because I'll be in the shower and go, oh, this is how we could do this or whatever. And it's like, so what if you're willing to play and create 24/7? Or is that being an inconceivable reality?
Definitely. And this has been one of the things that has been probably one of the best tools of Joy of Business, is literally being able to do business absolutely any way I like, any time of the day or night, like being able to meet with people all over the world. I had the ability to just pop over to see my wonderful friends and visit their beautiful baby twins, and it didn't affect my business at all. In fact, it probably made it better. that is the kind of thing that is available when you destroy and uncreate your points of view about what business has to be, about what your life has to be, and also what it takes to actually get there or do that too.
Okay, so let's talk more about that, what it takes to get there. And it's like, what are some of the things that you would say it takes to get there?
Well, I think start by asking questions. Literally the question, really back to basics here of what would it take to create this? It'd be the first question I go to. And if you need to be this from the inconceivable space of what it's going to take. You can't go into the figuring out of, okay, what's it going to take to get this? How much money am I going to need? How much time off am I going to need? Is this person going to be happy this? And what about this? And as soon as you do that, you just feel the crushing energy just come down onto your great idea, and boom, it's dead, it's gone. I'm going to find someone more fun to play with kind of thing.
So then I would add to that too, the choice. And it's like, what choices could you make? Because as Rebecca said, when that crushing energy comes down with all your doubt and all your supposed fear and all your reasons and justifications for not creating something, and it's like usually money is one of your justifications. What if you stopped, took a moment, do whatever you have to do? It's like go for a walk, hug a tree. And it's like make a cup of tea. And it's like pour a glass of wine, sit in a chair for a moment. And it's like whatever you have to do to be completely present with yourself and go, okay, you know what? You have to stop. What if there was no judgment, no limitations, no conclusions? What would I choose here? If I was asking to be totally inconceivable today, what would I choose? Because if you're going to be totally inconceivable, you have no doubt. You have no fear. You're always functioning, as Rebecca said, from questions. You're always looking at what else is possible. And even asking those simple questions, what else is possible today? What possibilities are available that I've not yet asked for?
That is
what
my
possibilities
favorite
are available? Yeah, it's one of my favorites too. And what possibilities are available that we have not yet instituted? Because there's so many. And if you ask everyone that you work with, ask that one question. Because what does it do? It gets them all going, oh, you know what? I came up with this idea the other day when I was in the shower or when I was walking my dog. And it's like, what if we did this? And it's like, okay, so you might not institute it today, but the idea is there. And that idea is a generative energy. And from that generative energy, it's like so much more can be created. And it's like you make these generative ideas become alive instead of killing them with all the doubt and with all the fear and with all the judgment and all the limitations and all the conclusional realities. So everywhere that you've been doing that, truth, where you destroy and uncreate it, times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all names, shorts, boys and beyond. So we are about to go up to our next break. But ladies and gentlemen, it's time to start functioning from the unthinkable, the unbelievable, the incredible, the implausible, the totally out of the question, and the totally being beyond belief. So don't go away. We'll be waiting for you. Joy of Business. Access joyofbusiness.com. Check it out during the break.
Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake.
Hi, my name is Monica and I'm the host of Co-Creating Now. Give yourself an opportunity to connect with your all-knowing higher self and manifest joy, love, and peace together every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern.
Host your show on IOM-FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM-FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Would you like to be a part of creating a sustainable future on planet Earth? The Elgar Foundation, created by Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane Heer, is a non-for-profit organization providing alternative ways of working with and preserving land for a sustainable future. To donate and learn more, go to www.crowdrise.com/Elgar. What kind of earth would you like to see passed on to the next generation and beyond? www.crowdrise.com/Elgar.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back, everybody. You're with Joy Business, Simone Milasas and Rebecca Hulse, and we're talking about being inconceivable in business and money. And one of the things that I sort of wanted to touch on a little bit more, wondering, Rebecca, if you can talk a little bit more about choice, because people see choice as not as great as what it could be. And it's like you have infinite amount of choice. Like it's like, one of the things I was talking to someone today, I said, I was doing an interview with a New Zealand magazine. And she said, is there anything you'd like to leave the, listeners with, like a last sort of tool or hint? And I was like, yeah, look at choice. Because every single time you say, if I had a choice or I didn't have a choice, you need to stop. You do have a choice. You have infinite choice. You chose your life as it currently is. Now what would you like to choose? So you can't blame anybody else. And it's like, this is it. This is your life. So what else would you like to add about the choice stuff, Rebecca?
Yeah, well, we've been talking so much about being inconceivable and creating your life from that and choosing to ask questions and to stop judging and to stop doubting. But the thing is, to me, it made it so much easier to choose the inconceivable when I really saw what judgment and doubt was doing to my life and what I was trying to create. To me, one of the biggest joys in the world is creating. Being able to get up in the morning and create. There's absolutely nothing I would rather do better. It's one of the things that makes me excited every single day. You could wake me up in the middle of the night, even if I was so tired from I don't know what trip, and said, let's create blah, 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 and I probably want to jump up straight away and do it. But what I realized was the moment I started judging or doubting absolutely anything about what I was creating or myself or my life, the entire thing would just die. It would just curl up in this little shriveled heap and disintegrate. And I'd be like, where did my idea go? Or where did my mojo go? Or my joy of living. And that's kind of when I went, okay, enough. This is not something I am willing to let myself sit in and be stuck in anymore. If that is what this does, I don't want to choose that anymore. I want to go for the inconceivable, for the joy, for the creation, for the impossible. And once I started looking at that, it became way easier to do it.
Well, one of the things I'd like to extend on with that too is the possible, the impossible and the possible. Like I said, I just had this conversation with Gary Douglas, who's one of the most amazing men in business, absolutely. And it's and he's talking to me about an idea he has, and it's there is no tangible way to create this right now. It's not logical. It's not, here's steps, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and then you will get this. It's not like that. It's an energy of what he would like to create as a future. So it's where are you limiting the future that you could create by trying to, quote unquote, work it out? One of the things I always used to say when I heard information, I'd go, let me go away and think about that. I'm just going to go away and work that out. And it's no, you don't have to work anything out. What you have to have is what we were talking about is choice. And being able to choose instantaneously is inconceivable. And what if you were being inconceivable? So how many things are you creating that are limiting your future? That if you actually created them as conceivable, would allow them to show up now and in the future. Everything at that is times a Godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Oh my goodness. And it's where are you willing to create your choices from? What if you were willing to make a choice and know that choice was going to create a difference in 20 years' time, in 50 years' time, in 100 years' time? I mean, I look at Access Consciousness and it's like, I'm so grateful for Access Consciousness and the tools. Oh my goodness. My life would not be where it is today without it. I mean, and it's funny, you know, people are like, you know, oh, well, look what Simone's got. And it's like, yeah, this is not how it started off. It's like I was definitely destroying myself in a lot of judgment, and I had no money, and I, you know, had a failing business, and it's like, and all these different things because I was functioning from so much judgment and limitation. And it's like, and then it's like, okay, so what would it look like if I actually used the Access Consciousness tools, which is totally inconceivable, to have this amazing, awesome life? How many times have you been told that you've got to have the, you know, the bad to have the good, or the yin and yang? What if that wasn't true? What if all of life came to you with ease and joy and glory?
And if you have trouble remembering that, I have to say, please go to the Apple Store and look for Xander ringtones. I think they're called Ringtones by Zan, and they're just the most magical things to wake up to in the morning. There's one that is the Access Mantra, and it finishes off by telling you you're pretty. It's one of my favorite ways to wake up in the morning, is to remember the Access Mantra and then be told that you're pretty.
Actually, let me see if I can play it right now. Let me see how clever I am at doing this while I'm on my phone. So hang on. Down. I can do it. Oh, this is here we go. Is this going to happen?
If you have your earphones in, Simone, I'm not sure we can hear that.
Oh. Okay, damn. Okay, so I can hear it in my head.
Hold on. I think I can do it. Dan, you know what? I'm looking.
And Dan is spelled Xan as well, but go get it because you've got a whole bunch of there. So maybe, I mean, we're heading off to a break in 2 minutes, so maybe during the break we can work out how we can play those and we can show them to you. Because what if life was inconceivable and it was the lightness and the fun and the joy and the magic? Are you willing to have that, no matter what day of the week it is? Or have you decided that Monday is Monday-itis and Monday has to be the day that you complain all the time? So whatever that is, times a gazillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. Again, ask the question, if I was creating my life, business and money as the undefinable and inconceivable me, what would I be? And everything at that is times a gazillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Absolutely.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. See, I love the way that I tried to show that to you, and I thought that you could all hear it, but you couldn't. But I still just went, okay, then we'll just see what can show up. So if you were creating your life, business, and money as the undefinable and inconceivable you, what would you be? And everything at that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Now let's run these ones. If you were creating your life, business, and money as the undefinable and inconceivable you, what would you choose? And everything at that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. If you were creating your life, business, and money as the undefinable and inconceivable you, what would you create? And everything at that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. And one more. If you were creating your life, business, and money as the undefinable and inconceivable you, what would you generate? And everything at that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. What if you're willing to be undefinable and inconceivable? And just ask in the morning. It's like, oh, so would it be, you know, if I was being inconceivable today, what would I choose? And then choose. You have to make the choice. And everything at that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. I mean, how many ideas have you come up with and you haven't instituted them because you've decided they're inconceivable? It's like this, you know, this is a friend of ours. It's actually Gary Douglas's grandson. And that created all of these ringtones, you know. And it's like, and, you know, he mucks around and says it's for his college fund. Okay, great. How does it get any better than that? So how many times is it like, you would go, oh, it's inconceivable to go to college to create that much money, rather than what would I need to change, or what would I need to be inconceivable to create the money with ease to go to college? Different question. Not a conclusion, different question. And then what ideas do you have that if you actually instituted them would create a totally different reality? Create the possible. Create the impossible into possible. And everything at that is time to Godzilla and we destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
All right, and on good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and girls. Have you found those ringtones yet to play?
I haven't. They're on my other phone, which is in Twinland. I'll have to go and extract it in the break.
Oh, hang on a second. I think I can do it on this one. Let me, okay, no, not wallpaper. I need sound, Simone. I need sound. Okay, so hang on a second. If I play this, can you hear this?
All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. All of life comes to me with ease, joy, and glory. You're pretty.
Did you get all that?
Yes, we did. My favorite way to wake up in the morning.
I know. It's one of my favorite ways as well. Although I've got even a better one. Let me just check out. Yes, we have time to play it. Okay. This is the one that I actually set for my alarms as well. So this is what I wake up to in the morning. Hang on a second.
Who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? Who does it belong to? Who does it belong to?
I love that because, and who does it belong to is a question, okay? So every time you wake up in the morning and you're asked, I mean, how many of you wake up and then you're, sitting in judgment or you're like depressed or you're sad or, something like that is going on. And it's like, what if it wasn't yours? So waking up to the question of who does it belong to always gives me, so much space to actually create from. And what is the space for you to create was being inconceivable.
Right. And there's
so everywhere that you
go for it. Do the clearing first.
Everything you've decided that it's totally inconceivable to wake up with that much space and that much ease where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yes.
Times a gazillion, all right, and on good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.
There's also an amazing app out there now on the Who Does This Belong To tool, both on Android and on Apple. And it literally sets a challenge for you for 3 days to use this tool every day. You can do it at whatever time reminders you set, or random, or you can go with Dr. Dane Here's recommendations of every 10 minutes for 3 days. And it's amazing just to see the kind of space in your head and the ability to not buy everything is yours after doing it for 3 days and having that kind of peace and space in your head from starting by asking questions.
Because one of the things that we talk about in Access is that 99%, and I'm going to say 100% of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions are not yours. So when you're feeling sad or you're feeling angry, ask, who does this belong to? And if it lightens up, it's not yours. So you can, go to the store, get the Who Does This Belong To app. It's I'm not sure what that's under, but we'll find out over the break, and then we'll be able to tell you where you can find that one as well. So don't go away. You're with Joy Business, and we're talking about being inconceivable in business and money with Rebecca Hulse and Simone Milasas. Don't forget to check out accessjoyofbusiness.com. Be back real soon. Bye-bye.
Would your business and life like to be bigger? Would you like to have more fun with everything you do? Simone Milasas travels the world facilitating Joy of Business seminars. These classes are for you if you would like to create more money and joy, expand your business, and work smarter, not harder. Join her live or watch the online seminar from the comfort of your own home. Go to www.accessjoyofbusiness.com to register and for more information.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Joy of Business. You're with Rebecca Hulse and Simone Milasas talking about inconceivable in business and money. And, you know, one of the things I was just looking at over the break is I remember years and years and years ago when, you know, I met Gary and I didn't have much money and I was looking at these photos and I was looking at these photos that somebody had of a 7-day event that we have these 7-day events all over the world with Access Consciousness. At the moment, New Zealand, Costa Rica, and South Africa, and they're so much fun. And I was looking at these photos, and I was thinking to myself, coming from Australia, oh, I couldn't possibly be going to Costa Rica now. You know, it's so far away and it's so much money. Like, that literally was my point of view. And then there was this one photo that showed up, and I was like, and I sort of had this, like, sadness energy about me, and this friend of mine said, what's up? And I was like, well, this photo in particular is the one that makes me think I could never go. And we were in Queensland, Australia, which is one of the states in Australia. And he goes, really, that photo? And I said, yeah. And he said, that photo's taken in Sydney. And it was of himself and Gary. And I was like, oh, Sydney, I can get to Sydney. And I realized how inconceivable I was making something because it was a geographical limitation I had created. Rather than Sydney, that's easy. I just jump on a plane. I can be there within a few hours, you know, or drive there. It takes 15 hours to drive. Whatever it takes, I could do it. Whereas because Costa Rica, I had the reason and justification it was so far away, I decided it was inconceivable. Rather than now, the life I've created is an inconceivable life and living with business and money. I own a horse in Costa Rica. I go there like at least twice a year and go horse riding. Now, most people who find out about that, they look at me like with their heads cocked going, really? It's like, yeah. We own a horse in Costa Rica, and it's like we travel like 9-10 months of the year. And have you decided that's inconceivable? Well, that's what I asked for to show up with business and money. That was part of my demand of myself, that I would have more travel when I was making money and in my business. And that's exactly what I've created. So what is it that you would like to create, that you could create, that you've decided you can't create, because it's totally inconceivable? And everything that is times a godzillion, where you destroy and uncreate it.
Yeah.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. What have you decided is inconceivable, Rebecca, that you changed?
Well, you know, it was really funny. An old friend of mine actually just gave me a quick message on Facebook today and said, hey, I don't think I've talked to you for over a year. How are you? What are you doing? Like, what is your life like compared to a year ago? And I was like, oh my God, what is my life like as compared to a year ago? I mean, this time last year, I just got back from one of my first trips to Europe, which was this dream come true for me. And since then, I think I've been twice more already, and I'm going again all the way to the other side of the world in June again. Last year, I spent maybe 12 weeks at home in New Zealand, and I looked at my life since then of going, wow, I did this amazing trip. What else can I do? And the what else can I do has been surprising beyond belief. And I mean, today we just added Tokyo and Hong Kong to my itinerary for this year. And who knows what else? And this is, to me, what the inconceivable way of doing business is you never have the set point of view of where you're going to go or what you're going to do or what you can contribute. You just get to be it all and create it all and be, again, surprised and delighted at what shows up. Because it's always more than what you thought it could be, which is the brilliant part. It's never, ever less.
No, well, how many times do you not choose something because it's totally undefinable and inconceivable? You think, oh, I can't do that because I haven't planned that. It's not in my schedule. It's not in the, what I've decided my life is going to look like. I mean, I've got this beautiful house on the beach. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's like, it's good for me. It works for me. It's like you can hear the ocean right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I can hear the ocean. I'm sitting on my veranda. I love it. And not very long ago, someone said to me something about, oh, well, your house, like that's the house that you'll have for life. That's, this and that. And I was like, no, it's a great house. And it's like, but I don't have to be in this house forever. And we've been talking about, going, maybe not next year, the year after, and going and living in the south of France or Italy for 6 months of the year. And then probably living in Costa Rica for 3 months of the year. And it's very funny when you say it to people in Australia because they're like, really? And they look at you like, because it's totally inconceivable and undefinable. So what if you became inconceivable and undefinable? It's like, what would you choose? And it's like, nobody can box you in anymore. And I'm not saying you have to go live in the south of France. And it's like, you don't have to do that. But it's like, what if you're willing to follow the energy and choose something that was totally different? Totally different. And not totally different from resistance and reaction. Totally different. Because that is what you would like your life to be like. Okay? This is about what you would like your life to be like. What you would like your business to be like. What you would like your money flows to be like. I mean, what hours do you want to operate in your business? What if you set those hours? What if you were the one that knew what hours you're going to create the most money? What hours you're going to have the most clients showing up? What if you didn't set your business and your money flows on this reality? What if it was something totally different, totally inconceivable, and totally undefinable? Are you in, everybody? Are you in?
Yeah.
Okay, and everything at that is times a gazillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pock and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Because it has to be a play. It has to be that energy of play, knowing that the magic can show up, knowing that there's a different possibility. Know what I mean?
Business in action.
Exactly. So I'm going to mention one more time, well, probably more times on OMTimes, but I want to mention about the Denver class because I know that so many people in America listen to this show, and it's like we have from the 1st to the 3rd of September, the only time I'm in the U.S. doing Joy Business 101 and Joy Business 102. And now the manuals change all the time because, the way you do Joy Business classes or any Access Consciousness class is it really depends who shows up to class. And it's like what questions you ask. And it's like, and what energy shows up, and then things change. They start to change. Okay? So it's like the manuals change, and it's like it's different every time, and which is what makes it totally exciting and inconceivable and all of the changes. So it's from the 1st to the 3rd of September in Denver, Colorado, and you can also live stream it. So you can come live stream or live. Now, you can go to accessjoybusiness.com, and you sent me the URL, /Denver. Is that right?
Yes, that's it. But there's actually another possibility I would love to invite you guys to as well, is to have...
Totally inconceivable.
I know. Now, this is about to be totally inconceivable, is a Joy of Business party. So what if you could put someone on your computer or your TV and live stream this Denver class, but it didn't just have to be you and your computer screen. It could be all of your friends or everyone you know that desires to create something different with business. Hey, send them to this show even to get a taste and go, yeah, I've been listening to this lady online and she's totally changing the way she does business and the way I do business, and she's doing classes. And here's the thing, for every single person that shows up to your pod, which is what we call these Joy of Business parties, is a pod, you get to make money off that. So everything.
You get to make money off that? That's totally inconceivable. You can actually go to a class and make money off it? Rebecca.
Yeah. Sorry, I let it out. So if you want to know more about that, you can go to accessjoyofbusiness.com/pods, which is PODS. Yeah, why not? Why not make money from every dollar you spend? Like, What if everything you spent money on, you could ask it to come back trifold, 10,000-fold even?
Okay, so how many of you think that that's totally inconceivable to ask for the amount of money you spend on stuff to come back 10 times fold? That was a tool early on in Access that I learned. Like, you know, when you're paying your electricity bill and you're like, oh, $120 or $300, whatever it is, and you get cranky or you think, I could have spent this on a new pair of shoes. Instead, what if you asked a question and went, okay, so I'm going to pay, you know, this $150, $300 on my electricity bill. What if this came back to me tenfold? I have no idea how that's going to show up, but what if I ask the universe to assist me in contributing to me and my life and my living, my business and my money flows, and ask it to show up tenfold? And everything it doesn't allow that to show up, destroy and uncreate it, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. Because you have to be willing to receive. You have to be willing to be that inconceivable and undefinable energy to create more in your business and more in your money with no judgment. No more judgment, okay? No more judgment. Because consciousness includes everything and judges nothing. So what if you're willing to be conscious? What would your life look like? And it does. It includes everything and it judges nothing. So it's not about, you know, praying or meditating or saging or any, you can do all of that. It includes it all. But what if you were just willing to be you? Because you are not a judgeable offense. Nothing you've chosen has ever been a judgeable offense. So everywhere that you've decided anything that you've chosen has been a judgeable offense, will you please destroy and uncreate it now? You are not wrong. You've never been wrong. Times of Godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond. So we have about a minute left of the show. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming on. Is there anything else you'd like to leave the listeners with?
Well, maybe we could just do one more question. Actually, a tool you could take away that you could do from now on is just to go ask yourself every day, what have I made inconceivable today, and destroy and uncreate it? What if you did that every day from now on?
I like that. What have you made inconceivable today and destroy and uncreate it? And everything that is times Godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, POC and POD, all nine shorts, boys and beyond.